Tell a joke.
Fish joke.
Hey guys, I'm David.
Hi, David.
Woo!
You don't have to clap for me. I'm just a lonely guy. It's fine. I don't get applause when I'm changing in my bedroom. You don't have to applaud now. Also, if I start to sound like a Jewish grandmother halfway through the show, because I forgot my water bottle, I just start to change from this to like this, and I just can't keep my. Don't fucking bother with me. So yeah, I was at the store the other day, and I'm in line, and I'm looking at my phone. And you know how like BuzzFeed has those articles where we'll just pull up random shit about whatever the fuck? Like, this is the 5 worst black men to ever get fucked in the ass. Just shit like that. And I was looking at it, it's like, the shit we get entertained with. The article specifically was 10 celebrities who walk outside without makeup. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you're fucking kidding me. I don't even have makeup on right now. How can I walk outside without makeup and not get shit for it? But people who are just beyond, like, perfectly chiseled face, skin softer than your mother's bottom, can walk outside like Jennifer Lawrence and like they'll get shit when they don't have makeup on. It's like, really, what is wrong? The photographer who probably took a picture of her, who's probably had like stubble for 5 weeks, fucking a beer belly from here to fucking Zimbabwe. You know, he's just sitting there like half jerking it and he doesn't even know what's going on exactly. He just knows he has to get the photo for the $300 it's gonna pay for his rent. And it's just like this stupid shit we get entertained with like that. And I was at a baseball game with my friends the other day. My girlfriend works there, she got us tickets for free, and I thought, what the fuck, why not? It was like the 7th inning or so, and they were going on, and all of a sudden, the mascot's like up on like this thing they have in the stadium where it's like you can rent suites out, and these people will go in there and they'll like have a TV in there and not even watch the fucking game. They'll just watch something completely different for the sinfully expensive amount of money that it cost to rent this thing out, and they won't even watch the game. Disregard that completely. But he went up in there and he was throwing like mesh baseballs down to people. They're just like little inexpensive, no monetary value, no like entertainment value to these things. They'll probably break as soon as you throw them out to people. And like people are jumping up to try and get these, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, it's one thing to see like a 4-year-old grab it, because they don't know any better. They don't know that some kid in like China slaved away to make this thing for them, and he can't even like spend enough money to get like a grain of rice to eat in the morning before he goes to the mill like a half an hour before he was even supposed to go to bed. And people are jumping up to this. But the funny fucking thing about it is there's a 4-year-old and there's a 40-year-old man right next to him jumping up and screaming and pushing this kid over to get one too. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you work for probably a salary that pays like $50,000 to $70,000 a year, and then you want this ball that no one else in the physical world that we live in would ever want more than anything. Yet this ball was Storm on the planet. Why? What is the advantage that you're going to gain from a fucking little plush ball? And you're 40. And it's just like, they get entertained by this shit. And the very next inning, it got worse. The mascot went back up in there. And I don't know if, like, they were throwing things down again, but I don't know if you understand the physics of a cup of popcorn. But normally when something like that falls, the cup is a little heavier than the popcorn, but not that much heavier. So while they were dropping them down to people, it was like floating down, but the popcorn was like still floating in the air above it, like down onto people. And that same grown man got up, turned around to try and get this cup of popcorn that he was probably full by the time it got down. The cup hits him in the face, falls in the seat. The popcorn falls onto people, it's getting in their hair, and it gets in his eye and shit. And he, like, tries to look for the cup in the seat, thinking that popcorn will still be in it. Even though God knows that every piece of popcorn that was in that cup is all over the stadium now. It just didn't know. Why would there still be a cup of popcorn with something in it that fell 3 stories? Like, what little kernel of popcorn is that important that you need to get it so you can show it to your son and say, I got this for you. this is for you. I worked hard for you. And yet he brings home money to get him to school and shit. And I just don't understand it. Like, what is happening there that is that important? And the even funnier thing is, we all know that baseball is kind of like a white person game. I don't want to be like the racist comedian, but like, you know, it's just like something that predominantly white people are usually the only people who have like the attention span to deal with baseball. Like, you have to wait 30 seconds for him to scratch his crotch and then spit and scratch it again, spit again, look at the picture, and then miss. He doesn't even try to attempt to play the game. White people are the only people that can stand doing that. Like, you know, everybody else is interested in interesting things like basketball and things that actually catch your attention. But, you know, then they start playing like a song in between batters, and it's that song Thrift Shop by Macklemore. And in that song, there's a line where he says, "cold ass honky." Now, in a stadium filled with white people, normally these racist white comedy, I mean, trust me, white people don't deserve any racial privilege whatsoever. They have like 10,000 years of unadulterated, unanswered white privilege. But in like a stadium filled with them, they don't bleep that out, yet they will bleep out the word cock. Something everybody has. Yeah, cold ass honky. And I get it, like if that 5-year-old kid was just go, "Mom, what's a cock?" So I'm sure she doesn't want to go through the whole like, "Oh, well, that's that thing that your father puts in me all the time." And that's what you came out of long ago. And like the Star Wars theme song starts playing. But yet, like, I'm sure if a kid heard the word honky, let alone the word ass, the word honky, and like asked them all, like, "Mom, what's a honky?" She would have to go into like extensive detail as to, okay, well, long ago, the Romans were in power, and they were white, most likely. And then like slavery happened, and that was a dark part of our history, and Civil War, but we don't like to admit that's the worst part of American history. And then like, finally there was civil rights, and they always called white people honkies. And that was the worst thing, even though we were terrible to them. I'm sure I'd much rather explain to my son that it's what you have in between your legs, rather than have to explain the atrocities of racism to him. Just break his spirit completely. He'll go home and look at his friend Tom, or whatever black kid that's on the block will come over and just be like, "I don't want to talk to you anymore right now. I really can't deal with it." He pulls out a cigarette and shit. Did you know this happened? Why didn't you tell me? So yeah, just don't go to a baseball game. It's my best advice I can give you. Has anybody heard about the recent like strikes that McDonald's employees are going through? No. How they want to have like $15 an hour now because they can't support their families. And that's all fine. Like it seems like a valid thing. But then, like, when you actually do the math, $15 an hour, if they work probably a 40-hour week, because that's the reason why they want the raise, is so that they can support their families on it. Okay. That's why they want to support their families on it. If you do the math, $15 an hour, it's 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, then, you know, 4 weeks in a month, 12 months in a year, not 7 months in a year. That's a different calendar. 12 months in a year, that comes out to about $12,800, which is, if you look at poverty line statistics, one person can apparently live off $11,000 a year. Seems reasonable. It's if you make $28,800 at McDonald's, that's just above the poverty line to feed 5 people in your family. If you have 5 people in your family and you still work at McDonald's 40 hours a week, just think about where you are in life right now. You've had 3 kids, you've married somebody, you probably have a dog, big ass television screen that your kids can just like listen to all day. You know, cartoons just laughing in their fucking face. And yet you still work at McDonald's for what is going to be $15 an hour. Probably more than a lot of people at like worthwhile jobs make. Like, you don't need to go and eat at McDonald's. It's fucking wonderful. I love the fact that I could go to McDonald's and get fries for like 50 cents, and it's like, yes, please. I hate myself, but please give them to me. And it's like these people, I don't think that people understand. It's not so much a problem that like the wage is too low. It's just like the shit we live with in America is kind of too much is a polite way to put it. Because think about it, you end up having an SUV which fills gas at like 10 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, 10 miles per gallon, that's the correct measurement. 10 miles per gallon, and then you have a TV that costs like $5,000. You have a house that's way too lavish for what you really need. You need a room, just like a blank room to sit in and do nothing for hours. That's, you bought an extra bedroom in your house and an extra half bathroom just so you could do that. You have like cable television and all this shit. And when you think about it, it's like, do you really need that much more money to support cable, TV, and an extra room to sit in and do fucking nothing? Probably like jerk it a little bit. God knows what you do in there. You never let your kids in there. And like, and I look at it, made me like realize, like, I look at myself and I drive like a Mazda 3. Yeah, it gets decent gas mileage, but it's like it's a fast. I could have gotten like a decent 1990s Honda Civic, and instead I'm just like sitting here. You know, it's like, it's just kind of, when you think about it, eventually we'll put kids in the burgers, and then eventually you'll start putting whole blocks of concrete in them, and eventually you just want to take like entire news networks to watch in your own home, and then the world will die, and that'll be it. Thank you guys.